geometry. So we are getting ready for the end of Unit 11. And you guys will be taking a Canvas quiz. It'll count as a test score. And it's going to cover basically everything that we've done in Unit 11. So I figured I would write down some of the stuff, and feel free to pause this video so that you can write all this down, because obviously I already have it all written down. You do not. But here is the main gist. So the vocab. All right, you're going to need to know the difference between a radius versus a diameter, a tangent line, a secant line, a minor arc, a major arc, and a semicircle. So radius goes from the center to a point on the circle. Diameter is a chord, goes from one side of the circle to the other, but it has to go through the center. A tangent line is a line, so it's got arrows on either end, that crosses through the circle in one location. That one location is known as the point of tangency. And then this line is a secant line. It goes through the circle in two locations as opposed to one, and it's got arrows on either end. A minor arc is going to be an arc that is small, less than a half the circle. You only use 2 letters to name it. A major arc is more than half the circle. You use 3 letters to name it. And a semicircle is exactly half the circle. You use 3 letters to name that. Properties of chords and tangents. So one of the things we learned, that if you have 2 chords like so that are congruent to each other, the arcs that they open up to are also going to be congruent. So if the chords are congruent, the arcs are congruent. All right, this we didn't get into, so you don't have to worry about this. Something like this guy down here. All right, remember that if you have an angle that has a vertex on the circle, and it opens up to exactly half the circle, okay, because this is a diameter, this is 180 degrees. This angle will be half of the arc. Half of 180 is 90, so this angle will be a right angle every single time. This guy here, if you have 2 tangent lines drawn to the same circle from the same point, those 2 tangent lines will be congruent, so you can just set those equal to each other. And this picture here, if you have a quadrilateral where each of its corners are on the circle like so, the opposite angles will be supplementary. So angle A plus angle C will equal 180, angle D plus angle B will equal 180. All right, so those are some of the properties of chords and tangents. We also did some stuff with circles. So remember, like, area of a circle is radius squared times pi. Circumference is 2 times radius times pi, or diameter times pi. The area of a sector is like finding the area of a piece of pie. All right, you'll need the measurement of the arc, that's the m there, and the radius. You'll do the measurement of the arc over 360 times radius squared times pi. And that may result in a decimal, or it might result in a whole number. It just kind of depends. Arc length is finding the distance from one part of the circle to the other. All right, so it's measuring the distance of this arc. And to do that, you do the measurement of the arc over 360 times 2 times radius times pi. So you just need the radius, the measurement of the arc, plug it in, use your calculator, and you should be all set. Then we had all these problems with where's the vertex. So remember, if the vertex is the center, the angle is going to equal the arc. So if this is 40 degrees, the arc is 40 degrees. If the vertex is on the circle, so notice this vertex is on the circle, this angle will be half of the arc. So if the arc is 40, the angle is 20. Or the other way of thinking of it is the arc will be double the angle. So let's say the angle is 10, the arc would be 20. If the vertex is somewhere inside the circle, not the center, but just somewhere else, that angle, I just put a 1 there, that angle 1 is going to equal whatever that arc is, arc 1, plus this arc, arc 2, divided by 2. You go with what it opens up to and what its vertical angle opens up to. Those 2 arcs added together, divided by 2, will give you angle 1. And then if it's outside the circle, that's when you subtract. So I put a 1 out here. Angle 1 is going to equal this bigger arc minus the smaller arc divided by 2. So if it's inside the circle, you add the arcs, divide by 2. Outside the circle, subtract the arcs, divide by 2. Make sure when you subtract, you do the bigger minus smaller so that you don't get a negative. All right, and then this stuff we didn't get into, so you don't have to worry about this. Yeah, so that's kind of a quick little summary of everything that you need to know. I would recommend, going back to the notes from previous sections, maybe rewatching videos if you need to, as well as going back to previous homework problems. There is a review worksheet for the test that you'll be working on soon. You could certainly get started on that, and that'll be a really good study guide for the test. All right, good luck.